I don't think there's anybody else in the world that is better suited to be able to see this through than myself. I'm trying to get justice for everybody.
Prince Harry isn't holding back. The royal spoke out on ITV's documentary Tabloids on Trial and spilled a lot of royal tea surrounding his legal battles with British tabloids, including revealing why he won't bring wife Meghan Markle back to the UK.
Look at what has happened in the last 4 years to me, my wife, and my family, right? So that was a very hard decision for me to make, which is how bad is it going to get?
Some people would say that you know, you taking on these high-profile battles, but that actually attracts more attention onto you.
There is more than enough attention on me and my wife anyway. They pushed me too far. It got to a point where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I don't think there's anybody else in the world that is better suited and placed to be able to see this through than myself. It's still dangerous, and all it takes is one lone actor, one person who reads this stuff to act on what they have read, and whether it's a knife or acid, whatever it is, and these are things that are a genuine concern for me. It's one of the reasons why I won't bring my wife back to this country.
He also thinks the issues with the tabloids have contributed to the rift between him and his brother, Prince William.
Why are you still fighting?
Because that evidence needs to come to the surface. And then after that, the police can then make their mind up, because this country and the British public deserve better.
Prince Harry's mission stands in stark contrast to his brother's approach. In 2020, Prince William reportedly settled out of court with News Group newspapers for what's been described as a very large sum of money. To what extent do you think that your determination to fight the tabloids destroyed the relationship with your family?
I think there's, that's certainly a central piece to it. But, you know, that's a hard question to answer, because anything I say about my family results in a torrent of abuse from the press. I've made it very clear that this is something that needs to be done. It would be nice if we, did it as a family. I believe that, again, from a service standpoint, and when you're in a public role, that these are the things that we should be doing for the greater good. But I'm doing this. I'm doing this for my reasons.
What do you think of their decision not to fight in the way that you have?
I think everything that's played out has shown people what the truth of the matter is. For me, the mission continues, but it's caused, as you say, part of a rift.
He does think his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, would be rooting for him.
You said in court documents that the Queen, your granny as you call her, supported your claim. What do you think she would think of what you're doing now?
I wish we had many conversations before she passed. This is very much something that she supported. She knew how much this meant to me. I think she's very much up there going, see this through to the end, without question.
The topic of his father, King Charles, and sister-in-law Kate Middleton's health came up.
Both your father and your sister-in-law have been unwell. It's a reminder, I guess, to all of us that life is precious. Mm-hmm. Does it ever just make you think, this is not worth it? Life is just too short for these legal battles.
I don't think the continuation of these legal battles is the sort of, the two things are completely separate. My father and my sister-in-law and me, following through on these legal battles are two completely different things.
The Duke of Sussex spoke about the paranoia he felt when private information about his personal life was published in the press.
Seems as though they knew something before I even did.
As well as phone hacking, Mirror Group newspapers commissioned private investigators to blag the flight information, credit card details or phone bills of Prince Harry's then-girlfriend, Chelsea Davy. What sort of feelings does a headline like that create in you?
I guess even paranoia and fear and worry, concern, distrust around the people around you. Clearly, a headline like that has absolutely no public interest whatsoever. There's a big difference between what interests the public and what is public interest. So, what happens in my private life between myself and then girlfriend is exactly that between us.
Other victims of hacking that I've spoken to have described the paranoia that it creates. Do you identify with that?
I think paranoia it's a very interesting word because, yes, then it could be paranoia. But then when you're vindicated, it proves that you weren't being paranoid.
He also mentioned his late mother, Princess Diana.
You know, there is evidence to suggest that she was being hacked in the mid-90s, probably one of the first people to be hacked. And yet, still today, the press, the tabloid press, very much enjoy painting her as being paranoid. But she wasn't paranoid. She was absolutely right of what was happening to her. And she's not around today to find out the truth.
Does your mother motivate you in this legal fight?
There's all sorts of things that motivate me.
While it's never been proven in court that Princess Diana was hacked, the past remains raw. Some will question whether there's an element of payback here too.
No, I know that it is clear now to everybody that the risk of taking on the press and the risk of such retaliation from them by taking these claims forward, it's clearly not in my interest to do that.
And he shared about reaching a legal victory in his phone hacking case.
Did you feel vindicated?
Yeah, and I did feel vindicated. Phone hacking has been going on for a long time. It's some, especially the defendants, claim for it to be historical. Well, there's a huge amount that has come to light now that people, and the British public especially, simply have no idea about.
The judge ruled that 15 out of 33 articles about his past girlfriends, a conversation with his brother, his deployment to Afghanistan, were all the result of unlawful invasions into his privacy. In total, he's reportedly been awarded hundreds of thousands of pounds in damages. Can you just spell out to me what kind of criminal tactics Mirror Group newspapers used against you?
Well, there's voicemail interception, blagging of flight records. It was always referred to as just phone hacking, but it's the unlawful information gathering and the use of private investigators that was really the secondary part to this.
When you got the judge's ruling that you had been hacked, what was your reaction?
To go in there and come out and have the judge rule in our favour was obviously huge. But for him to go as far as he did with regard to, this wasn't just the individual people, this went right up to the top. This was lawyers, this was high executives. And to be able to achieve that in a trial, and that's a monumental victory.
The father of two also shared about why he's determined to see things through legally.
Are you determined to go all the way to trial, whatever the cost?
That is the plan. If I can get to trial, then we're talking over a decade's worth of evidence, most of which has never, ever been known to the public. That's the goal.
There are accusations flying on both sides. Recently, Prince Harry was asked to explain how some of his own messages were apparently destroyed, a judge ordering him to search for deleted online exchanges with his biographer. But some will say there have been multiple criminal investigations, there have been convictions, millions of pounds have been paid out in compensation. Some will wonder, why are you still fighting?
Because that evidence needs to come to the surface. And then after that, the police can then make their mind up, because this country and the British public deserve better.